Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to get into something that might feel a little uncomfortable,
Mm.
but in that really necessary way that I didn't know I needed to hear this until right now kind of way.
Yeah, this one hits close to home, literally.
We're looking at Undetected, No Face, No Case, Volume 4 by Kandaya Ali, and specifically this really dense section called The Dark Clouds at Home and Abroad.
It's a heavy one.
It is. And to kick this off, I want you to just picture a house. Not one with like screaming matches every night or obvious violence,
Well,
but a house where everything is quiet.
too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavy. It has weight.
Exactly. And Ollie's core idea here is that darkness doesn't always scream. We sort of expect trauma to be these loud, explosive events.
Like in the movies.
Right. But she argues that the most insidious kind of dysfunction is the kind that just settles in. It becomes the air. She calls it the unspoken religion of dysfunction.
That phrase really stuck with me. Unspoken religion. Because it implies there are rules and punishments and rituals.
But nobody ever wrote them down.
No, you just absorb them.
And that's our mission today. We're going to try to make that invisible atmosphere visible. We'll look at the mechanics of this silent darkness, how it shapes the abused, how it uses the abuser,
And then how it scales up to become the culture we're all, swimming in.
and most importantly, how to stop breathing it in. Because once you see it, you really can't unsee it.
No, you can't.
Okay, so this idea of atmosphere, I think everyone listening has had that experience, right? You walk into a room and your stomach just drops even though nobody's saying a word.
Oh, yeah, the vibe is off. The air is thick.
The air is thick, and we usually just dismiss that. We tell ourselves we're imagining it. But Ali says we obsess over the smoking gun, the big event we can point to.
Right, that thing was bad.
But the real damage, she says, often comes from the smoke itself, that constant low-level smog of tension.
It's a difference between getting punched once and living in a room where you might get punched, but you never, ever know when.
That's it. It's the anticipation. It's the cortisol just dripping into your system 24/7.
Precisely. And that takes us to the first big section in the source, the abused. But the title she uses isn't what happened to you. It's how darkness lives in you.
Which is such a tough distinction. At first, it almost sounds like victim blaming, like, oh, so now it's my fault.
It does, but it's not blaming. It's more like biology. It's adaptation.
Mm.
If you grow up in that smog, your body has to change to survive it.
You become an organism designed for a dark environment.
Exactly. And the first way that happens is what she calls silence as survival.
Which makes sense. If I speak, things explode. So I just don't speak. I keep the peace.
But it's deeper than just not talking. She says emotions are absorbed but never released. Just think about the physics of that.
Right. Energy doesn't just disappear.
No. So if you feel anger or fear or sadness and you can't express it, it doesn't just go away. It calcifies inside you.
You become a container.
A hazardous waste container for everything that was left unsaid.
Mm-hmm.
And that pressure builds.
Which brings us to the next point. And I have to say, this one hit me the hardest. I think a lot of us are going to feel this one. It's called self-shrinking.
This is a huge one. It's the hallmark of high-functioning trauma.
The behaviors she lists. I mean, listen to this. Apologizing when you aren't wrong. Lowering your dreams so you don't seem too big.
The don't mind me syndrome.
Why do we do that? I catch myself doing it, saying sorry because I almost bumped into someone. Why do we apologize for just taking up space?
Because in a dysfunctional home, taking up space is interpreted as aggression.
Mm-hmm.
If you're too happy, too loud, too successful, you attract the dark clouds.
You become a target.
So self-shrinking is a preemptive defense. You're trying to make yourself so small that the dysfunction just passes right over you.
But the cost is that you eventually disappear. You shrink so much there's nothing left.
Right. And this isn't just a habit. The text says this leads to CPTSD symptoms, complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay, so CPTSD, can you clarify that? How's that different from regular PTSD?
Well, standard PTSD is often tied to a single big event, like a car crash, a shock. CPTSD is about long-term exposure.
The drip, drip, drip.
It's the result of having to shrink yourself every single day for years. It's not an explosion, it's erosion. It wears down your sense of self until you just feel unsafe in your own skin.
And then it gets even more twisted. The internalized abuser. This is where we start doing the abuser's job for them.
It's almost like an efficiency mechanism for the brain.
Yeah.
If someone is constantly critiquing you, your brain eventually goes, okay, I can save some time here. I'll just critique myself before they do.
So you beat them to the punch.
You internalize their voice. So even when they're gone, the broadcast is still running in your head.
Repeating cruelty inward. That's the phrase she uses. You replay humiliations. You self-sabotage.
It's like malware running in the background, just
Yeah.
eating up your energy.
Yeah.
And that self-sabotage links right to this other concept I found so fascinating, frozen joy.
Oh, man. Frozen joy. It sounds poetic, but it's just heartbreaking.
It really is. The core idea is that for a traumatized person, peace feels suspicious.
Because peace is just the calm before the storm.
Exactly. If your baseline is chaos, then peace feels terrifying. Your nervous system is on high alert. So when things are actually good, your internal alarm starts screaming, "Danger! Where's the threat?"
You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
So what do? You sabotage it, you pick a fight, you ruin the moment. Ollie argues that we do this because chaos, weirdly, feels safer.
So we ruin our own happiness to feel safe.
It sounds so backward, but yes. A traumatized nervous system knows how to navigate a crisis. It's been doing it forever. It has no idea how to navigate peace. So you create chaos just to get back to a temperature you recognize.
That explains so much. Why people stay in bad situations or ruin good ones. They're freezing their own joy because the thaw feels too dangerous.
Tragic, isn't it? You're so busy waiting for the catastrophe that you just cause it yourself to get it over with.
Okay, so that's the internal landscape of the person absorbing all this. It's heavy, but we have to pivot now to the source of it.
Right. The abuser.
And the framing here is so interesting. It's not just this person is a monster. The section is called How Darkness Uses Them.
Yeah, that suggests they're almost like vehicles. Vessels.
Like they're infected, not just malicious.
Exactly. Now, we have to be really careful here. This doesn't excuse the abuse at all. Accountability is still everything. But it helps explain the why.
And the first point is generational possession. Now that sounds supernatural.
It does, but you can think of it psychologically. It's the inheritance of trauma. Think of rage like a family heirloom that no one wants, but everyone keeps passing down.
So they're basically running a script they didn't write.
They're running their father's script, and his father's before that. They are, in a way, possessed by the lineage's unresolved pain, and this leads to routine darkness.
This is how that atmosphere gets maintained.
Right. Abuse gets rebranded. It's not abuse, it's discipline. It's not cruelty, it's toughening you up.
I'm only doing this for your own good.
That's the lie that keeps the whole machine running, and when it becomes routine, you stop questioning if it's normal.
Now we have to pause here because this next concept is, I think, the most unique part of the whole text. Ali talks about energetic parasites.
Right. This is where we step into a more metaphysical framework.
She uses a specific word, loosh, L-O-O-S-H. She says that cruelty and rage become loosh for unseen entities. What? What is that?
Okay, so louche is a term from more esoteric circles. The basic idea is that intense negative emotions, fear, pain, rage, they generate a specific kind of energy.
Okay.
And the theory is that this energy is a food source.
A food source for what?
For unseen entities, or just for the darkness itself. But look, even if you don't buy the metaphysical side of it, even if that sounds too sci-fi,
Yeah.
you can look at it as a metaphor and it still works perfectly.
Yeah.
Negativity feeds on itself. Rage demands more rage. It is, by its nature, parasitic.
So the argument is that the abuser is being, what, farmed?
That's the implication.
Yeah.
That they are provoked into these states of rage because that energy has to go somewhere. They become a portal, generating this loosh, this negative life force.
And that's why they seem energized after a fight while the victim feels completely drained.
They've just fed the dynamic.
But, and this is a huge but, which the text points out right away, that's followed by avoidance of accountability. You can't just say, the loosh made me do it.
No, you're still the one yelling. The mechanism Ali describes here is like a game of hot potato. The abuser feels this deep, burning core shame.
Which is intolerable.
So to get relief, they have to throw that hot potato to someone else.
Through blame.
Through blame, domination, gaslighting. They avoid their own darkness by projecting it. The victim becomes a trash can for their self-hatred. I feel bad, so I will make you feel bad.
Wow. Okay, so we have this toxic ecosystem in the home, the container and the projector. But Ollie zooms the camera way out from there.
This is the and abroad part.
She writes, a traumatized child becomes a traumatized adult. Enough of them create a trauma-based civilization.
And this is where it all clicks. We think of society or the economy as these abstract things, but they're not. They're just millions of traumatized people interacting.
The text lists the signs of this collective culture, and reading them, it just sounds like modern life, which is the really scary part.
Sadly, yes. The symptoms of the sick society look a lot like the sick home.
One is over-intellectualization of feelings, thinking instead of feeling.
We worship data. We see emotions as weaknesses. If you're crying at work, you're unprofessional. But this is a trauma response on a massive scale. We're a society living in our heads because our bodies hurt too much.
And perfectionism over presence.
I mean, just look at social media, the curated life.
Mm.
We value the image of the thing more than the actual experience.
That's a direct parallel. You have to look perfect to avoid the abuser's rage or to avoid society's judgment.
And then there's the normalization of burnout and numbness.
Yeah. No space for grief, mourning, or slowness. That one gets me.
Right. You lose a loved one, you get 3 days off, maybe. Then it's back to being productive. Our systems don't allow us to actually process our humanity.
It's all connected. The silence we learn at the dinner table becomes the silence we keep when we see injustice.
It's fractal. The micro is the macro.
Okay, so we've painted a pretty bleak picture. A smog of trauma fueled by loosh, scaled up to a global level.
It sounds hopeless when you lay it all out like that.
But it's not. And this is where the source material pivots. The next section is called "The Pattern is the Prison, but also the Key."
This is the call to action.
Ellie speaks directly to the listener here, to a very specific type of person.
The most sensitive, spiritually awake, emotionally intense person in the lineage.
I love this because she reframes sensitivity. Usually, if you're the sensitive one, you're told you're too much or too soft.
Why are you so dramatic? Why can't you just take a joke?
Right. But Ollie says your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's an alarm system.
That is such a powerful reframe. If you walk into that house and feel sick and heavy, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means your sensors are working. You are detecting the undetected.
You're not the broken one, you're the canary in the coal mine.
Exactly. And because you can feel it, you're the only one who can heal it.
The text gives this person a mission, a 3-part mandate. First, name the silence.
You have to speak the unspoken thing. You have to be the one who says, this isn't normal, this hurts, I am not okay with this.
Which is terrifying. The system will fight back.
Oh, it will. But it's the only way out.
Second, hold what others won't.
This one is maybe the hardest. It means you stop playing hot potato. When the trauma comes to you, you don't throw it at someone else, you catch it, you process it.
You become a filter, not a conduit.
Yes. You say, the buck stops here. I will digest this pain so it doesn't poison the next generation.
And the third one, break what was called unbreakable.
Those generational contracts. Just because your father was angry and his father was angry doesn't mean you have to be. You can rewrite the code.
There's a line here that just it hit me so hard. Be the end of the pattern, even if you never got the apology.
That's the kicker, isn't it? So many of us are just waiting for that apology, for that closure. But Ollie says, don't hold your breath.
Because they might not even know what they did.
They may never wake up. They may feed the darkness forever. You have to heal despite them, not because of them.
It's an act of radical sovereignty. You're evicting the darkness from your own house.
And in doing that, you change the future for everyone who comes after you.
Okay, so to wrap up, the text gives us some reflection prompts. These are questions for you, listening right now, to take with you.
Yeah, these are great. They put it all down to earth.
Let's trade off. The first one asks you to just notice. In what ways have I felt or noticed silent darkness shaping the atmosphere of my home or community?
And trust your gut on this. If a room feels heavy, it's heavy. Ask why. Who are you afraid of upsetting with your presence?
Second, where in my own life have I used silence as survival?
Yeah. Where are you biting your tongue? Where are you shrinking? And then ask, is this actually keeping me safe anymore? Or is it just keeping me small?
Good one. Third, are there patterns of self-sabotage or internalized abuser voices in my own self-talk?
Listen to how you talk to yourself. When you mess up, do you say, oops, or do you say, you idiot, you ruin everything? Whose voice is that? It's probably a recording.
Fourth, how can I discern when someone is acting as an unhealed portal for something darker?
This is about boundaries. If you feel drained or attacked around someone, recognize they might be feeding on your reaction. You don't have to provide the loosh, you can just disengage.
And finally, the big picture one. In my daily life, what one practice can I implement to shift a small piece of collective dysfunction into conscious healing?
This can be tiny.
Right.
It can be choosing to really listen to someone. It can be allowing yourself to feel sad instead of pushing it down. Small shifts break big patterns.
We've covered a lot of ground today. I mean, from silent living rooms to energetic parasites to the structure of our whole civilization.
It's a lot to process. but it's so important.
Before we sign off, I just want to leave you with one final thought. We talked about the sensitive person being the alarm system.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you've always felt like the outsider in your family, the one who was always too difficult because you asked questions,
The black sheep.
the black sheep, I want you to consider another possibility. What if you aren't the black sheep? What if you're the antibody?
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Think about it. Maybe the trauma ran unchecked for generations because everyone was just numb enough to tolerate it. But then you showed up with a heart so open and skin so thin that you couldn't tolerate it.
You were designed to reject the infection.
Exactly. What if your sensitivity isn't a mistake? What if the lineage or spirit or whatever you want to call it produced you specifically because it had reached a breaking point and it needed someone strong enough to feel the pain and finally snap the chain?
So you aren't the problem. You're the solution. The pain stops with you.
You're not broken. You're the breaker.
That's a powerful place to stand.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. Keep your sensors on. Notice the atmosphere. Break the silence. And we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.